Hey class, in today's lesson we're going to talk about arithmetic sequences and partial sums, which is found in section 9.2 part 1. Our objectives are to recognize, write, and find nth terms of arithmetic sequences. So a little vocabulary. A sequence whose consecutive terms, meaning one term after the next, have a common difference is called an arithmetic sequence. So what we're going to do in this example is identify the first term and then the common difference of each sequence. So our first term, and I need to get a pen. Okay. So the first term of this sequence is 7. And then the common difference, well, the difference between 7 and 11 is plus 4 because you added 4 to get there. 11 and 15, again, you added 4. Between 15 and 19, you added 4. So the difference is 4. Okay. On the second one, the first term, is 2. And then the common difference is, well, think about it. On the last one, we're pretty good at addition, but when you start dealing with negatives, we actually need to understand why we got plus 4. So how do we get plus 4? Well, essentially what you do is you take your second number and subtract it from your first. So since these are negatives and we want to make sure we're doing these right, because again, the last one is actually fractions. We truly want to make sure we're doing it right. This would be -3 minus 2, which is -5. Same deal over here. It would be -13 minus a -8. The difference is -5. Okay. On the last one, our first term is 1. Okay. And then again for the second one, I'm going to choose these two in the middle. So that'd be 3/2 minus 5/4. We'll get a common denominator. The denominator should be 4. So that changes this to, right, we got a times 2 for the numerator and the denominator. So give me 6/4 minus 5/4. So my difference is 1/4. And that would be kind of easy to see also if you change that 1 to a 4/4. 4/4. From 4/4 to 5/4, you added a 4. 6/2 is the same thing as 6/4, right? So this is 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4. So the difference, again, is 1/4. So again, to find the difference, you subtract the second number minus the first number, or the subsequent number minus the number in front of it. All right, so then we get this formula so that we can figure out the arithmetic sequence formula. And what you will get is that a sub n is a number. So the number at the nth term. And a lot of times for us, it'll be the last number that they're asking for. So like, what is the 50th number in the sequence, right? That's what we're looking for. The other one, A, is the first number. And sometimes you may see it as written as A sub 1, but it means the same thing. Okay. The next part that we have is N, and N means number of terms. Pretty generic when we think about math and other classes like science. And then the last one, D, is difference. All right, so let's apply this formula. So in example 2, it says find the formula for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence whose common difference is 3 and whose first term is 2. So again, if the formula is A sub n equals A plus n minus 1 times the difference, we have to figure out what they're asking for. So let's see. They tell you that 3 is a common difference, so 3 is D. And then they tell you that the first term is 2, so 2 is A. they're asking you to find the formula for the nth term. So just to find the formula is just to sub these in and simplify them. So in other words, finding the formula will stay a sub n. So if we substitute this in, we would have a sub n equal to 2 plus n minus 1 times the difference, which is 3. If we distribute the 3, we would get 3n minus 3, which would give us a final answer of a sub n equal to 3n minus 1. And that's our final answer. Okay, let's take a look at the second one, or the next one. This time it asked for the fourth term of the arithmetic sequence. This one tells you that the fourth term is 20 and that the 13th term is 65. And so they want you to write the first three terms. Well, here's the deal. Instead of us like having to go through all this and try and figure out what all the numbers are, right? Because, for example, we could go through this method of, well, they gave you four numbers, or you don't know what the first four numbers are, but the fourth number is 20. And then if you kept going, right, and I'm just going to draw some dots because we're not going to do all of it, right? But then you know that the 13th number is 65, okay? Rather than trying to find all of that, what we could do is just apply our formula. So the formula again is a sub n equals a plus n minus 1 times the difference, okay? And what we will do is that we will, so what we'll do is we will find the difference between 20 and 65. So if 20 is the fourth number and 65 is the 13th number, that means there are between, including number 4, the fourth number, and the 13th number, there are 10 numbers or 10 terms in there. So what we would do is we would write a sub n, and a sub n is the last number, and so for us that's 65, equals a is going to be 20, so it's going to represent our first number, even though it's not the first number, but it's easier for us to figure out what the sequence would be in this area so that we could figure out what it's supposed to be in the front, okay? So it'd be 65 equal to 20 plus n, we said, from including the fourth and the 13th numbers, the numbers in between would make this 10, and then minus 1, and then we don't know what the difference is, but that's what we're going to solve for. So this is going to give us 65 equal to 20 plus 9d. If I want to solve for the difference, we're going to subtract 20 on both sides. That's going to give us 45 equal to 9d. And so when we divide by 9 on both sides, we're going to get d equal to 5. So our difference is 5. So what that means then is I should be able to find the first three numbers by subtracting 5 from 20. That'll give me 15 for the number right in front of it. Subtract another 5, that'll give me 10, and subtract another 5, and that will give me 5 for my first number. Okay? And so 5, 10, 15 are the final answers. They are the first three numbers, or the first three terms of the sequence. All right, let's take a look at our last one. It says find the seventh term of the arithmetic sequence whose first two terms are 2 and 9. So on this one, again, trying to list it out so that you can see it. The first two terms are 2 and 9, and we're looking for the seventh, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And please do not avoid using the formula and just counting it out. Like, I know you know how to do that. Those are skills that you've learned in elementary school, but we need to use the formula. So applying our formula, the formula says a sub n equals a plus n minus 1 times the difference. A sub n, they're asking for the seventh term, so this would be a sub 7 is what we're looking for. A is the first term, so that's 2, plus n, again, there are 7 terms, we're going to put 7, minus 1 times the difference. Now, the difference can be found by finding the difference between 2 and 9. Remember, we would do 9 minus 2, or the second number minus the first. We would get 7. So that difference is 7. So this would be 2 plus 6 times 7, which is 2 plus 42. And so your final answer is 44. So 44 is going to be the 7th number in the sequence. All right, so that is it, guys. If you have any questions, please be sure to come see me for tutoring.